I was reading this story in the paper, and it was about a young man, and he was taking his girlfriend around to see his dad and his stepmom, to meet them. And he had a stepbrother as well. They'd go over there sometimes, have dinner, whatever. And him and his girlfriend had their own apartment, and they had an extra room. So his stepmother contacted them and asked, could your stepbrother move in with y'all? You have the extra space. You think that would be all right? And the guy said, yeah, sure, that's no problem. So the stepbrother moved in, and the guy also, he always could tell that the stepbrother was trying to kind of interfere in his relationship with the girlfriend. If him and his girlfriend were hanging out, the stepbrother would kind of, try to get into mingling with them as well, and hanging out with them to watch a movie, etc. But the guy didn't really think anything of it. He just figured he's just being a brother. Whether it's a stepbrother or not, he's just being brother, kind of that annoying, type of person. So the guy was getting ready to propose to his girlfriend, and his stepmother was kind of, like, oh, y'all are too young, you don't know each other yet enough, or well enough, dropping little things like that. And then, he's like, well, a while later, he's like, no, I'm going to do this now. This is the time. And the stepmother said, well, why would you do this to your brother? He is in love with your girlfriend, and they're a better match. What? They are a better match, and basically, you can find someone else. Let your stepbrother have your girlfriend. And the guy was like, have her? She's not property. No, he can't have her. This isn't cattle. So, and then she kept sending text messages, calling him, saying, you need to call off this engagement and let your stepbrother pursue this relationship with her. It's going to ruin him, break his heart, all that stuff. And, sometimes that happens where people think just because they have a crush on someone or they like someone, they romanticize about them, and they think that would be their perfect match, and they want to be in a relationship with that person. In their head, they're already in a relationship with someone that has no interest in them. And then you get like the wacky mom, like, oh, my son likes her more than you, basically, and you should just give him her. Or, you know what I mean? There are people like that. So anyways, when I read this story, I thought about that. I have some wacky relatives. I'll say that much. And some of them I, still talk to or fraternize with on occasion. But some of them, I just cut them off. And, pardon me. So, the same type of situation happened with me. So, I had a boyfriend. I was very young and very dumb and very stupid and naive. And, but anyways, I was in love. I was in love with this dude. And, we were more friends than anything. I think it was just a really good friendship. And sometimes it's bad just because you get along with someone and you have a good camaraderie with them. You ruin it by becoming boyfriend and girlfriend. But anywho, but we were just real chill and cool together, and we liked doing the same things. And but anywho, he was 10 years older than me, because yes, your girl, now I wouldn't date anyone that much, but I have it's mostly my significant relationships, I'll just say that much. The men have been 10 years, at least 10 years older than me. So, anyways, he was 10 years older than me. So he was actually closer in age to one of my relatives. Okay. So keep that in mind. And that was a female relative. And so we were going to visit and stay with the family, which would include this female relative and her mama. And my boyfriend wanted to, like, we were all. I was in a night owl exactly, like, but I would stay up late. But my boyfriend liked to stay up real late, and my relative and him, we were all just chilling, having conversation, playing music, and all that. And I said, I'm going to bed. I'm tired. And my boyfriend said, well, I'm going to stay up, with my female relative. And no, I didn't even suspect a damn thing. I didn't think, oh, he's going to cheat on me. Because he was a pretty solid dude, at least for a while. But then, they all go downhill after that. But he was a pretty solid dude. I didn't think for a second that I couldn't trust him with my female relative. Not at all. I knew him to be a very social person. And I knew he just liked to stay up late and have a good time. So I was married. So I go to bed. And him and my female relative, and granted, there's other people in the house. Not like they're alone. And they're in the kitchen. And they're just chilling, listening to music, talking about old TV shows and old movies. Because, like, they have the same age, the same, cool childhood memories because the same foods and TV shows. You know what I'm getting at. So, anyways, I wake up the next morning and, he said, yeah, we had a good time. We stayed up till about 3 a.m. And, yeah, and I said, well, how was she? Like, did you get along? She seemed fine with you? Oh, yeah, we're cool. So, anyways, we came down a couple more times to visit them. And then what happened is there was nothing happening in terms of my suspicions or anything like that. There's nothing bad. But what happened was my female relative's mother, okay, she says, I think that they're going to get married. And now me and my boyfriend had talked about getting married, okay, during this whole time. Like, it was very serious in that instance. And my female relative's mother said, yeah, I think they're going to get married. And I was like, what? I said, that is my boyfriend. And she said, yeah, but they get along really well. And your female relative needs somebody. And, guys like you, and there'll be other boyfriends. And I just think you should just let them get along with each other. Well, I thought to myself, what in the fuck is going on? And I asked my boyfriend, I said, I love you. I think I was crossing my fingers when I said that. But I said, I love you. And I would let you go if you want to stray from me. If you don't want to be with me, just let me know. And he said, what are you talking about? And I said, well, my female relative's mother said that you and her daughter were getting along really well. And I said, I mean, I don't think that you like her, but do you? And he goes, are you crazy? And I said, well, maybe just a itty bitty bit. And I said, no, I don't think that you're interested in her, but if you are, just let me know. And he says, I was just doing you a favor by hanging out with her and showing her a good time, because you said she don't get out much and she don't like people too much. And he says, I do like her. She's a nice person and I enjoy hanging out with her, but I don't want to be with her. I want to be with you. And for a couple days after that, I'm like, are you sure? And I didn't think that he did want to be with her, but in the back of my mind, I was like, I don't know. Maybe he does want to be with her. I don't think he does, but maybe. I was kind of questioning in my head, And then one day, me and her mama had a falling out. And I said to her, do you realize that you told me that my own boyfriend and your daughter were going to get married? I said, how fucked up is that? Who does that? If they were having an affair or something like that, yes, I could understand, you know. But that is, first of all, it is gross. It is gross that my boyfriend would get with one of my female relatives after me. And he didn't have an interest in her. He just wanted to be friends. And the mama was always pushing the narrative like, oh, you got to find a mate. And you know what I mean? And nobody wanted to be her mate that was around her at that time. Like, they were just friends. Just because people want to hang out and have a good time don't mean that they're going to marry each other. But it was a messed up situation. I tell you, there are strange stories I got, but that was just one of them. I just thought I'd tell you that little ditty. Whether you enjoyed it or not, I have no idea, but I thought it was funny. I just read that post in the paper, and I said, oh, that actually did happen to me. No wonder it seems to ring bells. All right, y'all, I'm going to try to go to sleep. I had my sleepy time tea. Hope y'all are going to have a good night. At least get some rest. Rest is the time when your body heals. I know you've all heard it before, but I take the passion flower tea, and it seems to help me quite a bit. So I'm going off to dreamland. Good night, y'all. Bye-bye.